I write such a good, Facebook post. It's like, well, I wrote 10,000 of them, and I started getting pretty good. So the faster you get through just trying and failing, and you probably will suck in the beginning, but the faster you can keep sucking and then get through that, you're going to become better, right? So rather than trying to avoid going through the shit to become good, it's better to do that than to procrastinate and do nothing at all. Make sense?
Yes.
And so the other thing is, again, this is not necessarily like a program as such, like you have to follow it all for it to work. If you just carried out probably 20% of what I share with you, you'll start getting better results than you're going to see probably, and you'll be putting out more content than most people. Remember, the bar is set extremely low with, like, who else is going to do this in your area, by the way. Just remember that, the bar is set extremely low. And even if they did churn out quantity, their content wouldn't have the quality and depth and authenticity that yours is going to have either. Right? Just remember that. Also remember that it's really about, another reason for putting out so much here organically is that you're looking for patterns. You're going to quickly see what people respond with and what they don't. You're going to see what times of day work and what don't for your audience. I can't tell you what time of day to post, right? 6:47 p.m., right? I don't know. It's always going to depend on your market and things like that. And when you do it for yourself, you'll quickly start seeing the trends. So really getting this amount of content out there, don't get frightened that like this is the program, it has to be this way or you won't get results. It's more about you quickly getting data and quickly finding your own voice and quickly getting good at this shit. And after it might be hard in the first 30 days, like anything, but if you do everything I say, in month 2, it'll be a piece of cake, and you'll be whipping out content like nobody's business, and it'll feel easy to you and effortless. All right? So, the way we're going to start from the top-down view. So before we get into like the time of day or things like that, or what type of post, we've got to start with what emotional points do we have to connect with. What makes a complete rounded content marketing approach? So we've covered some areas already with awareness and information, the difference of those. That gives you an idea of, depending on where you're posting, how the content might look. Okay, they're only guidelines. Don't get caught up like, I did an awareness video and it was 5 minutes and 2 seconds. Is it too long? Like, no, right? It's not too long. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. Just keep, awareness stuff is generally under 5 minutes. Information stuff is generally 5 to 50, right? But the general guidelines, there's no strict rules with that. So don't freak out, okay? So some of the main touch points we've got to get. I have 5 themes that I base my content on, which gives a good branch of everything. I'll quickly go through them all, and then we'll go in depth on each of them and quantify it into what to post and how. So the first column, let's say, if you want to make like a table on your page with 5 columns, let's say, and we'll fill in each of these columns. So start with 5 columns at the top. And then in the first column, the first top box, we put what we call branding hierarchy. So write that, branding hierarchy. So remember when Adam said, that core story message you have, that core message, that has to still be the core message. And the core message has to be the message, and we have to tell them the message over and over and over again. That's how you make a dent in their psyche, basically. And people forget that with content. They start scrolling off, talking about random shit, which might be great content. Maybe it's great to see a video of you trekking up a mountain, perfect, but it comes away often from the main message. You've got to always loop things back to the core message. Otherwise, you're just posting, you may as well just post to your friends, right? Your prospects, they care about you as far as it also helps them in their life too. So in branding hierarchy, here is where the first type of post, it's strictly about the core message. This is like your main branding post. And most companies generally have 2 to 3 main messages or derivatives of that message. So we will go to 2. So I want you to pick your main, the top brand post. So in this column you can put brand hierarchy number 1. This will be your ultimate core main message. The number one thing you want your customers to know about you, or what result you get. So if you had to tell me in 10 words or less, like, what do you need to be known for in your area, right? Write that down first. That's your first branding hierarchy. That's the top. And it's probably going to be like what Adam said, like it's what you help people do and why, that kind of thing. So the first ultimate message that you want to imprint on people's brains is, we're the place that help this person do this because we're passionate about it, or whatever it might be. Okay?
Wouldn't it be revolved around your solution at that point?
Doesn't have to be, no. Just needs to be about the connection of, like, this is the place, you know? Like, think of like branding like McDonald's, you know, they don't always have to tell you, oh, we've got burgers and fries on offer. It's just, we do fast food that you love. Like, that's it, right? So there is a place in the content, strictly, and these posts, for this one, you can make any kind of post you want, as long as it's really on that core message. That's probably where you'll start telling your story a lot of the time. And you will need to tell that story every week, over and over again. You don't just make your story once. You know, again, let's come back to Tony Robbins, right? Who knows Tony Robbins' story, right? For example, if you know roughly what his story is, right? How do you know what his story is?
Because he's told it.
How many times you heard it, right? More times you can remember, right? Thanksgiving dinner, didn't have anything, the stranger came round, and because they tell the story over and over and over and over and over again, right? So that's where this branding hierarchy theme comes in, where it's that day or that post each week is dedicated to telling your story in different, exciting, unique ways, or say it the same way, it doesn't matter. You just always got to tell that story, right? Then you can have branding hierarchy number 2 below that in the column. This could be, if there is something else you stand for, or another kind of belief you have that is secondary to that, maybe something else you want people to know about. You know, there's a minor part of it, but it's still something that you can always insert that there if you think that's important to get across as well. If there is another result you offer, or belief, or whatever it might be. You might have one, you might not. I mean, for example, like in, let's say, like my consulting business, my main branding hierarchy, the main theme that I want people to know when someone says the word Justin Devonshire, what do you think? Who is that guy? They should go, oh, that's the guy that helps people like escape the time for money trap and create scalable businesses. That's branding hierarchy number 1, right? The second thing I want to be known for is more about, oh, he's also the guy that like believes people should have a good lifestyle and live the way they want to with that freedom. It's like a secondary thing, right? But that's important in my marketing message too, so that is in there too. You might have 1, you might have 2, it's up to you. But like, it's a hierarchy, so number 1 is the core one. That's why. The second across then, the next column, the next theme we have is what I call process posts or information posts. So this would be more your stereotypical how-to content type of stuff. And I'd like you here to pick 3 main topics that you would generally talk about. In my gyms, it's usually mindset, nutrition, exercise. Right? It might be something similar in yours, or think of the pillars that make up what you do, like the principles. We only want 3. So if you have more than that, just pick the 3 people most interested in. So, one principle might be you need the right mindset to succeed. Second principle might be you need the right exercise to succeed. And the third might be you need the right nutrition to succeed. And so we've got a post each week on one of each of these elements then, where you can actually share some of your expertise a little more. Okay? You all got that okay so far? Any questions? No? Okay, so we'll go into each of these posts in just a minute, but let's get through the themes first. So the third theme then is what I call controversy.
What?
Controversy.
I'm like, what did you first say?
Controversy. Brain fart moment there. So there's 2 posts under this section. Okay, and that's 1 post a week about what you stand for. And the other post is what you stand against. Right? So standing for, like, think of something you believe in, and again, this taps into things that you like to talk about a lot, and things you all tapped on earlier with, men having issues in life and can't talk about it, or people not meeting their potential, or youngsters in their 20s like getting wrapped up in social media too much and insecurities. So here's where you really get to unleash your passions and beliefs, because your audience, remember, they're looking to who they can trust. One of the ways the audience are going to judge if they can trust you is if you have the same beliefs and values as they do. And if they can see that, she believes in these things too, I can probably trust this person a lot more. We're on the same wavelength. And people need to see what you believe. This is where you can go on your rants, you can really get caught up in things, be opinionated, talk about religion, talk about politics, whatever you want, right? Go for it, right? I would just say go for it, don't hold back. So, and that's why it is going to be controversial. And it's not, I don't take controversy as like try and piss people off. I just mean try and be honest. That will piss people off enough on its own. Right? It's not, a lot of people say about repelling people and this kind of repellent marketing. You don't need to repel people. You just come off as a jackass. You just need to be fucking honest. That will repel most people straight away. Right? And so standing for is like your call to arms, your inspirational type thing. You're the voice for the people that haven't got a voice, so maybe, for example, like Paris is talking to those 20-somethings and saying, look, I really believe you can have more, you can be secure, you can have a better lifestyle, you can travel the world, you can do these things. It's that main possibility post, right? Fuck what everyone else says, like fuck what your parents think, fuck what society says, you can do it. Just unleash pure passion on them. And it might be like no content, it doesn't teach them anything, but they just go, that's what she believes, right? And again, look at all the big names, again, you'll see they do this. You know what Tony Robbins believes in, you know what Gary Vaynerchuk believes in, you know what they don't believe in too, right? The stand against, similar principle, okay? Talk about things that you're not happy with in your industry. Talk about things you think should change, again, I don't like calling out like name calling, like you don't like badmouth certain people. Don't stand against people or individuals, stand against, organizations or concepts, or so you might say, for example, like I hate like the quick fix mentality of like slimming clubs type of thing, right? Because reasons, but you don't want to say Weight Watchers is shit. Don't go there, right? Because you get a lawsuit. So you don't want to tarnish individuals because no one deserves that anyway. But it's the concepts and the stereotypes and the social conditioning you want to stand against and say that I want to change this. I think this should be changed. Yeah.
Why?
So again, people can really see what you believe in and just as much what you don't believe in, right?
But why?
So they
why do
connect
they need
with
to
you
know
more.
what I don't believe in?
So people can connect with you and see who you are and what you believe in more.
It's a value match thing, right? So we often connect with people based on the values they share for things that they love, but also the values that they share for things that they don't like or don't support. And it's a connection thing, right? Like, you don't like the fact that women get abused, right? So somebody's on her page talking about the fact that she hates the fact that women don't stand up for themselves more, that they're getting abused, you would connect with their story, right? She's highlighting something that she stands against.
Okay.
So you haven't got to be like ranty or negative necessarily,
Yeah.
It's not like that. Like,
So you put a positive spin on a negative, or what you stand against, rather than saying...
It's just showing what you're campaigning for changing, So it's like, I know, I've seen, maybe it could be something like, if it's honest, I've been through this myself, and I was talking to a girl earlier who's in this abusive relationship and she can't get out of it, and she's tried these other things. She's tried and all they're giving her is like depression pills and telling her to cover it all up. And I'm just really sick of seeing that, and I really believe that should not be the answer. And instead we should try this instead. And if more women did that, we'd get better results. let me know in the comments if you agree or if I'm off track. People are just going, fuck yeah, that's right. You know,
it doesn't have to be positive. It just has to be real.
It also creates polarity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too, right? Like people, we all crave change. So like, if you're positive all the time, then like, people get bored.
yeah.
So if like one day you're like, oh, like this is great about that, and then you're like, oh, I fucking like this fucking, like
Yep.
it's just like, it's people are like, oh, what
You know, passion is different to inspiration. The word passion means to suffer with, right? So you're passionate about something is something you're suffering to be with, right? So when you're passionate about something like that, it can be about it. This is what it's what needs to change, you know, and talking about that. So you can talk about the way the industry is, the typical things people are being fed, or the information they're being given, or the tactics or tools they're being told to do. Just talk about what society does in general. Like, so people have emotional problems, and they just go and try and numb it with a pill, right? And I think that should change, because I'm not happy with that, right? That's why I do what I do, right? And or again, it can be concepts and things like that you stand against too. But does that help?
Yeah, I just like, I guess I struggle with like bad-mouthing other people or other programs or other.
Well, that's what you don't call it
like
individuals.
Pardon?
Sit down.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I was curious to understand why, like what the psychology was behind addressing things on that level.
Yeah, it's to show people that everyone has gripes, right? If you have a passion about something, you have gripes. You have like things grind your gears about things, right? If you didn't, then you wouldn't be passionate about it.
Yeah.
Right? There's things you probably are sick to fucking death with in the fitness industry, right? You guys were talking about it the other day about something, doctors or something. You guys were having a chat here on the couch about, right?
Yeah.
What you were saying.
You can't lose weight on
Well, medication, yeah. If you'd recorded that and put it out there, oh boom, that would be really good stuff. Controversial as fuck, right? But you didn't call out the individual, right? But that's gonna, again, it's gonna push away. It's more about pushing away people that aren't gonna follow you no matter what. Let them stay in their own little world. But it might plant a seed for those people when they are ready to come back round.
Mm-hmm.
And then then later on they see something you stand for, and they say, oh, this guy does care. He is cool. I just got triggered because he called my doctor an idiot or whatever. And then they're gonna start and go, what did he mean by that? Let me listen. Let me now see his point of view, what he meant.
Yeah.
So it's good to have both. Yeah, if you're just inspirational and happy and lead it all the time, it's not real.
You got to think the context that we're going for here, right? Is that you're trying to build connections and relationships, and you think about any connection and relationship you have, you hear about the good and the bad, right? Both times. So on social media or in whatever medium you're using, it's exactly the same, right? That's real, rather than somebody always sugarcoating something or giving it a nice spin when that's not actually how they really feel.
And that's why as well, these posts is only one of those a week, by the way, in this plan. So that's what it's 1 for, 1 against. It's a very minimal part because they're very sensitive and powerful on their own. So when we talk about that, say once a week on that. And think about we're on social media here as well. If this was like, say, a full-on content platform like medium.com or something, you probably wouldn't use a post like that. But this is social media we're posting on. Social media is not a content platform, it's a social platform. And people are driven and attracted to the more negative seeming spins on things as it is. They're more likely, to be honest, if you put 2 posts up, here's what I really love about my industry, or here's what I really hate about it, that one's going to get more attention from people. That's just the way we've got to content marketing is really understanding what we want to say, but also being aware of how we communicate with the prospects who aren't at the same level of consciousness we are, and saying, if we have to attract them in with something they need or something they want, to give them what they need, that's what we'll do. So that's your controversy post. Any other questions on that? No. Okay. So we've done branding hierarchy, process, controversy. The next one is just like FAQs. Now this is a really nice one if you just want something quick and easy. This is like generally your very quick tips posts. We want to have 7 of these, 1 for every day of the week. So at the least case, you just throw out a quick FAQ post. So what I'm going to do right now is spend a couple of minutes listing out 7 of the top FAQs you get from your market. These are like the basic redundant questions that you get pissed off answering. Like, are bananas good for me? Shit like that, right? If you need inspiration, just look at like magazine covers. Think of like glossy magazine covers and the headlines on there. That's what we're aiming for. This is really the mainstream, what the mainstream they're looking for. So we know the questions on their mind, the tactical questions, are not the real answer to things. The answer you probably give most people is it depends, right? And what most ego-based solopreneurs do then is they get pissed off at the market for asking those questions. And they actually start ranting at people. The worst thing I see fit pros doing is ranting at their market. Oh, you're so stupid if you think you can just wait, do this workout, it's going to work for you, it's stupid because science, right? And you're just alienating your market, right? You have to understand that your market do not have degrees and certifications and PhDs in biology like you do, right? It's not their freaking full-time job, right? They have other things going on in life. So if you simply just start relating, stop talking, stop like talking at you, like versus your audience, and just step onto their side. And what I do is a process, I take an FAQ and I turn it into what's called an SAQ, which is a should ask question. So what we do is we would start a post with one FAQ. Who's got one they can give me as an example? One FAQ.
What's the fastest way to lose weight?
What's the fastest way to lose weight? Okay, so you'd start the post with that. Another title, what's the fastest way to lose weight? Put it in quotations, so it's like, oh, somebody asked that, and they'll stop and go, oh, I'm thinking about that question too. And you can say, hey, a woman I met recently just asked me this question. I get asked a lot, what's the fastest way to lose weight? That is the FAQ. And then you kind of flip it and say, it's really great, you don't make them wrong from that question, you compliment them, say, it's really, if you have this question too, I'm really happy that you want to make a positive change. I really admire you for that. But here's what you should be asking. And then you go into what you would usually ask them back. Like, well, you could spin this in a number of ways. It could be like, what's going to be the best workout for me based on my lifestyle? Maybe it's best, the should ask question first is, what are my goals here? Or why do I want to work out? Maybe you could spin into the 7 whys exercise and say, hey, before, that's a great question, but what you should be asking though is, why is this important to you? Because when you know your reason why, you're more likely to stick to the plan. Here's a cool exercise, like 7 reasons why. Click here to read the blog post or whatever it might be. Right? And you can make this like a really short post or long, doesn't matter. So, who's got another example? Another question?
Are carbs bad?
Are carbs bad? Okay, the question I get asked a lot is, are carbs bad? So instead of what most of the pros do and go into a fucking rant about it, oh, I fucking hate the retailers saying they're full of shit, of course carbs aren't good, are you fucking stupid, All that stuff. Say, you know what, I can see why you might think that. The media and everyone are attacking carbs right now. What you should be asking is, what should they be asking?
What are the best types of carbs?
Yeah, well, yeah. It could be,
Why do you think carbs are bad? Or
you don't want to go into a mindset analysis with them here because you won't win that one in a Facebook post, right? But just keep it simple. That leads to, you lead to another question that really shows them, you lead them back to the principle, away from the tactic to the principle. And it's usually something that you can't answer in content and you have to get a personal coach to work with you for. So that actually is educating them on why they need coaching and why they shouldn't just listen to these little tactical questions, but without making them wrong for it. So you might say, for example, maybe the first question is, are they bad for my blood type, right? Or am I, diabetic or something? Or what are my goals?
Or
right?
the size of the portion.
What portion size? Yeah.
It's not that carbs are bad, but it's how much you eat of it.
Yeah. What body type? You can take this in multiple directions, multiple times. But depending on different questions, you could ask from that perspective, right? Like in a marketing one, people could say, Tracy asked, what budget should I put on Facebook ads every day? Right? I could say, great great thing, you're putting money on ads, well done for investing in your business. What you should be asking though is, what are your goals and what's your budget? Think about that. And you've left them with a better quality question. And I'm like, fuck, I need a coach, I don't know. You see, but you're educating them on what they don't know with these. And that's the best way to answer these kind of questions. It really, you get them thinking in a different way, they'll remember you. Right? You could give a little quick tip there, or you could actually just lead them with a better question and then lead them to a resource. You know, if you want to find out, you know, the best carbs for your body type or whatever, then I made a video on that. You can click here and watch it on YouTube or whatever, right? Or PM me and I'll help you out with this conundrum. If you don't know, if you're not sure what your budget on Facebook ads should be and need help clarifying your goals, send me a PM. I'm happy to chat over for 2 minutes. You know, and you can start some. These simplistic posts can actually lead to which are the quickest to make, can actually lead to the quickest conversations and engagement with people. Because they're thinking for themselves and thinking that they put the dots together to come and talk to you. It's always better when they think it's their idea. All right, so think of like 7 of the top asked questions, and that's like 1 for each day of the week. And every week you just rotate around them and either repost it or you can repurpose the same thing as a video. So if you did it as a Facebook post 1 week about the carbs thing, next week do the same thing as a video. They won't remember. Remember the time? Remember, you know, stay in state, peak state. You know, it's the same thing for 30 years. They don't get bored of it.
That's what I was going to ask. Are all these actual posts, or are these a combination of video and post?
Well, so we'll get to that, the actual
Okay.
media
Sorry.
type at the
Go
end, but they can be any,
Okay.
right? I want you to get used to doing videos though, so try and do videos first if you can. Or if you do a text one, make a point to turn it into a video next week and expand the conversation a bit more on video. But again, that's not really too important. It's the psychology behind it really is the main thing.
Okay.
So that's your FAQs, and that's, at minimum, you can just knock out one of those a day. It should take like 5 minutes, right? So that's 4, and then the final one we have is immersion posts or social posts. So you've got to remember that we're on social media, and too many of us are looking at it as a teaching platform, and doesn't show anything about our lives or who we are as people, right? Sometimes, like my friend Jim Alton, people just want to see you on a Friday night scoffing into a pizza, and they will love that post more than anything, right? Show them you're a human being and you're remembering that it's a social platform you're on. You're not there just throwing tips at them or trying to sell them. It doesn't have to be a call to action in every single post you make. Just remember to be a human, right? So these posts work better on kind of Fridays to the weekends where people are in more of a social mood. You know, if you try doing a post on Saturday morning about 10 tips to lose weight, it's going to bomb. But if you put a post up like, oh, hey, here's me out with the kids, and here's some like quick, healthy like pancake breakfast I made for them, so it was super quick and I wanted to keep them healthy. And it's really cool for a Saturday morning or whatever. Or you might say, hey, Saturday afternoon, I'm at McDonald's with the kids. You probably gasped when you saw that, but hey, you know what? Once in a while, it's good to have a bit of balance and let the kids have a McDonald's as long as they know the principles and blah, blah, blah. You know, don't beat yourself up and don't do a plan that makes you miserable. There's your Saturday motivation. That shit will go crazy, right? Because you're telling people what they want to believe, right? You're telling them like, they wish like a fitness pro would come and just make them feel okay for not being perfect once in a while. And you're not just saying it, but you're demonstrating your life and saying like, hey, you know, it happens to us too. And so the immersion posts, I have generally 3 types there, okay, that do these things. The first is a post about your wins and aspirations. So you get to say, you know, what's going well in life for you right now. Could be in fitness, could be another area of your life. Depends how open and authentic you want to be, right? So just think, this is what's really good about my life right now, and also what I'm aiming to achieve. People like to see that their coach or potential coach is also still aiming for things in life. Again, takes you off that perfect pedestal, and you're showing like, here's my next goal in business, or here's our next goal. We hope to expand this gym. You know, so it could be for you know, Ray and Amy, like, win could be, hey,